Hi, my name is Hannah, and I have died 7 times. Before I get into this video, I want to give a warning. I am going to talk about near-death experiences and what I remember when I died. So, just a warning that before I jump in and talk about all the crazy things. I went into the hospital in 2020. And I was put on life support. A lot of people thought I got COVID. I did not. I did not get COVID. I never had COVID, thank God. That's not why I was put on life support. I went undiagnosed my whole life with an extremely rare autoimmune disease that only about 1 to 2 in a million people get. So there's not a lot of people alive with it. And if you have it, then you usually go undiagnosed until you're about in your late 20s, early 30s. And mine started really early on. I was 13, and they intubated me, and then they put me on a machine called ECMO. And ECMO is the highest life support that I know of that someone can be on. I was awake on ECMO, which isn't normal, and I lived, so that's good. Love that. And I'm only going to talk about 2 times that I died. I'm not 100% sure on the second one I'm going to tell y'all about if I died or not, because it's super iffy because I was having a lot going on. So, a circuit change is when they change out the machine because there is blood flowing through it, and sometimes the blood collects and they have to change it out. That's what it is. It's like if a ventilator dies type of thing. So that during a circuit change, I died. And a lot of people are like, oh, when you die, you see a light or your life flashes before your eyes. That kind of happened with me, but not really. I had this dream, and I was upstairs in my room, and I went downstairs, and I went into the den because the stairs, and then the den, and then the living room, and then the kitchen. We have a very open floor plan. And so I was walking to the kitchen. I was so thirsty. So thirsty. I just remember having to have some water. And when I was on ECMO, I couldn't eat or drink during the first few months, 2 months, I'm not 100% sure. But, so I was like, I need water. And as I was walking into the kitchen, we have a hallway. So the kitchen is right here. Or the kitchen's right here. And then there's a hallway right here that leads to the guest bedroom and an office and a bathroom. And it was dark in there. And then I see these black ghost figures, spooky, and they grab onto me and start pulling me and start dragging me. And I remember grabbing onto the couch, the wall, fighting them off of me to get to the fridge to get my water. And I still have dreams remembering that. Not the exact dream. I did have a sleep paralysis episode thing one time, and that's what I saw. That was really scary. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. And they were pulling me in there, and I'm like, I know if they pull me in there, I'm going to die. I just knew. And they eventually get them off me, and I run to the fridge and open it and get my water. And the fridge was glowing white. It was so unreal. It's something you can't really describe. And I grabbed my water and I drank it, and then I woke up. I was alive. And that was I saw the light. And I remember when I told my mom about this, I think we were already home. I don't think I was in the hospital when I told her the story. She goes, Hannah, you flatlined. You died that time. That circuit change. And I was like, what? I like, that was my I saw the light. And that's pretty cool that I get to tell that story. Okay, now the second one is about internal bleeding. Super, super fun. Definitely recommend. I don't recommend. So, I have had, I think, 6 or 7 chest tubes. Chest tubes suck. Let me make that loud and clear. They suck. They hurt. They suck. You can't walk. Well, you can, but it hurts. It hurts. Oh. Anyway. So I had just gotten done getting a chest tube. And it was on my left side. And they go in from a certain area and they push it up into my lungs. And somehow during it, they hit my liver. I don't know how, but I have watched a video on how they place the chest tube, and that it kind of makes sense, because all the organs are so, like, close together that I'm not surprised. Honestly, I'm surprised it didn't happen more, but I had a really good surgeon, so, and he's the only doctor that has ever apologized to me, so he's pretty cool. I like him. But they nicked my liver, and they were like, you need to keep a close eye on her because we think something went wrong, but we're not 100% sure. My nurse, they stuck me, one of the most complicated cases, with a new nurse. Like, this was her first night on her own in the ICU. I was supposed to go up to the rehab floor the next day. That didn't happen. I spent a whole nother month in the ICU. So, that was so fun. She, every hour, every few minutes, well, like every 15 minutes, they took my blood pressure. Yeah, that should have been a sign. I don't know what this lady was doing, but that's me. I can't remember my exact blood pressure, but I'll ask my dad. Here it was. It was really low. When the number above the bottom number is higher, you know something's wrong. And so my ECMO doctor, he had gone on vacation because he spent his days off, coming up and sitting bedside with me, helping them work the machine. And so he went on vacation, well deserved. He worked his butt off. He saved my life. He comes back. The first day he's back, I almost died. So that was fun. I start coding. He is there. And, well, first off, flashback. My dad. So, my mom and dad, they have to trade out because it's COVID. You can't have 2 parents unless you're actually dying in a room. You can't have 2 people because COVID. So, yeah. And so they meet up in Starbucks, and my dad's getting his coffee, and my mom, she goes down there, and she goes, Bruce, you have to go upstairs now. I think something's really wrong. You have to go. My dad doesn't get his coffee, and he books it to the ICU. And when he comes in, he sees my blood pressure and starts freaking out. Thank God he was in the military. He was a Marine. He starts barking orders to everyone, and there was this cardiac doctor that was on the ICU, and he was not thinking I needed blood. He thought I needed fluids. So my dad starts yelling at him and says, you gotta get blood up here now, or else she is going to die. Well, eventually I start coding, and my ECMO doctor, he's in a meeting, with a bunch of doctors. and he hears my room number and what code it was. I can't remember what code. There's a bunch of different ones. Okay, I think it was a blue code blue. Like those aren't good. So taking a guess, and he books it down the hallway, and he just runs out of the room, and. So, one of the charge nurses told me that 1 second he was in the meeting, and the next she turned around, and then he was gone. So, so he comes in my room, and he starts just barking orders and telling people what to do. Nurses and doctors are scrambling around me. My dad's holding my hand. I'm like, oh crap, I'm gonna die. I didn't, so that's nice. I feel a rush of heat come from the top of my head to my feet, and it was that's how it felt to die. I was like, I'm dying, and my body is pulling a last resort. It's like you're gonna get really hot, because also this happens in hypothermia, where people's bodies get super hot when they're dying, and they have they think they need to take off their clothes, but actually they're gonna die anyway. But that's what my body did, and it feels the same as when you get a CAT scan, but 10 times worse. So when they put that dye in, it gets really hot. It's like that, but worse. So it took me a long time to get over that. You don't really get over stuff. You just learn to live with it. So, but he comes in and he takes I can't remember what line it was, but he inserts a line in my groin area and starts pulling out the blood that was in my stomach. It wasn't in my stomach, but it was just in my body because it had nowhere else to go. And he starts pulling out the blood with a syringe, and then starts putting in blood in one of my arteries. I think it was one of my arteries. And he pulled out. And this was while they were getting the OR or IR, whichever one is the emergency one, ready. So he was saving my life, basically. I love you. He pulls out, I think, 6 pints of blood. So I'm dead. And he pushed in just enough to give me some anesthesia. Oh! Yeah. So he's doing that, and they're getting the IR ready. And literally, as I'm doing this, I'm just praying to God. I'm like, God, I don't know what to do. I'm just kind of laying there. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing? Oh, he inverted the bed too. So my head was my feet were higher than my face. What? Okay. And they do that. And they're getting the IR ready. And I'm just holding my hand, and my dad is praying. He's that's all he can do, is watch and pray and wait. And if my dad wasn't there and we didn't already have the blood, I would have died. So my dad also saved my life, which was pretty cool. Love you, Dad. Hi. So then the IR gets there. They book it down to the room, the surgery room, and there's a nurse holding my hand. I can't remember her, but I was just that. Since I couldn't be touched and held or anything on ECMO, my go-to is hand holding, because it's kind of scary for me to have someone touch me, hold me. It's kind of I have to be feeling really bad for someone to for me to let someone hold me. Anyway, but I'm I need someone to hold my hand. I'm scared. And I understand now that a nurse needed to do her job. But I was I want someone to hold my hand. I'm scared. And a lady held my hand all the way down there. She was so sweet. And then this other lady, then she lets go. And I'm okay, okay, she's doing what she needs to do. And this other lady, I try and reach for her hand, and she, like, pushes me away. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that took a minute for me to get over. It's fine. And they eventually get a little bit of anesthesia in me, just enough to where I don't die. Because, if they do give you too much anesthesia, you die. So they gave me just enough where the blood in my body could balance the anesthesia that was given. I wake up on the surgery table. That's not funny. Anyway, I wake up on the surgery table, and they gave me a paralytic, something that paralyzes you. It's a medicine, and it paralyzes you because some people wake up during surgeries. For me, for example. And yeah, so I felt everything, and I'm trying to do anything in my power to let them know, like, I'm awake, okay? I'm awake. So I'm awake for about 45 minutes. It didn't feel that long, but it was. I'm like, you need to move your leg. You need to move your foot. You need to do something. So, like, all my power is into moving my foot. I did. Just a tiny bit. It probably was oh, ignore my nail polish. It's like that. Seriously. And someone goes, oh, blank, she's awake. And yeah. So I wake up, and they eventually finish getting some blood out of me, start stabilizing me, put a little metal mesh in my liver to stop the bleeding and all that. I still have it in there. So every time I go to the airport, I have to be like, hey, so I have a little mesh lining in my liver. Can you not? I'm not a bomb threat. Oh my God. Anyway, and so they finish up, and they sew me up, and they bring me back to my room. Both my parents are there. My mom never left, obviously. Oh! I can't remember, but I think she came up there, too. Girl, it was hazy. I don't remember all of it because I was dying. I had, no blood in my system. Because I think the human body has about 7 to 8 pints of blood. And I lost 6. So that's crazy. Yeah, so that was my near-death experience and dying. That's what I remember from dying. And I actually didn't know until about a few years ago that I died 7 times. That was kind of important information. I thought I only died once. That wasn't true. But, yeah. So, in conclusion, I died. But I am here, and I'm very thankful for all the doctors, nurses, respiratory therapists, PT, OT, child life, who have worked hard to keep me motivated and to keep me healthy and strong to help me get to where I am today. So every doctor, nurse, whoever is watching, thank you for all that you do for the medical community. And you are seen. Anyway, have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. I had so much fun making this video. I wanted to tell y'all that my ebook is available for pre-order, and the paper copy will come out on June 14th. You can go to the link in the description or on Amazon and look up The Stories My Scars Don't Tell to pre-order. Anyway, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and stay safe.